Welcome back to the ADHD Master Plan. Today we're tackling a mindset that holds many people back, and this mindset is called perfectionism. Whether you're a student, a professional, or simply a person who struggles with ADHD, perfectionism can trap you in a cycle of overworking on small, unnecessary details. In this video, I will show you how to break free from that cycle by setting time limits so that you can focus on what really matters and avoid burnout. So, what is perfectionism? Perfectionism is the tendency to want everything to be flawless. It sounds good in theory, but in reality, it can be overwhelming. Instead of finishing tasks efficiently, perfectionism often leads to overthinking and getting stuck on minor details that don't really matter. And this can be especially tricky for people with ADHD, where the desire to perfect something can turn into hyperfocus, spending a lot of time on small things and neglecting the bigger picture. So, how does perfectionism hold you back? The problem with perfectionism is that it holds you back in a number of ways. For starters, it wastes time. You spend too long trying to perfect unimportant details. This leads to burnout. You exhaust yourself from working on things that don't really matter. This also causes procrastination. You might avoid starting a task altogether, fearing it won't be good enough. And it prevents progress. You struggle to move forward because you're stuck in revision mode. So, next we're going to talk about setting time limits and why certain time limits work. The good news is that you can break free from perfectionism by setting time limits for tasks. This method works because it taps into your brain's natural focus abilities, where you have a set amount of time you are forced to focus on what's essential and let go of the unnecessary details. Instead of aiming for perfectionism, setting a timer for each task helps you focus on completing the task instead of perfecting every detail. When the timer runs out, you move on, and there's no need to tweak or make any revisions. So, next we're going to talk about how to implement time limits. You can start, here's how you can start by using time limits to beat perfectionism. One, you break tasks into small chunks. You break your project into smaller time-bound tasks. This makes it easier to manage and keep you from spending too much time on one part. Next, you use timers or apps. So you have apps like the Pomodoro app, the Forest app. You set a timer for each task. You can use tools like the Pomodoro app, which divides your work into 25-minute intervals with breaks in between. Then you set realistic standards. You remind yourself that done is better than perfect. Aim to finish the task to the best of your ability within the time limit, then move on. Let's say you need to write an email. Instead of spending an hour perfecting every sentence, you set a 10-minute timer. When the timer goes off, you hit send. If the email isn't perfect, that's okay. The goal is to keep moving forward. Here's what happens when you set time limits and let go of perfectionism. You experience more productivity. You get more done in less time. You experience less stress. You feel less pressure to be perfect. There is progress over perfection. You'll move forward instead of getting stuck. You will experience improved focus. Your brain will focus on what really matters. Perfectionism can be tough to beat, but setting time limits is a simple way to keep it in check. Remember, your time is valuable. Don't waste it perfecting the little things. If this video helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tips on managing ADHD, productivity, and mental health. And I'll see you next time. And thank you for visiting the ADHD Master Plan.